Ethan Skolnick here. We've got our guy in Memphis, Anthony Sane from Sports 56 Mornings, 98.5. We're going to talk a little bit about the Tennessee Titans, who have a playoff game coming up this weekend on the 10th against the Baltimore Ravens. The Titans, a little bit of a struggle in their last game against the Houston Texans, which really didn't have anything to play for, but they came back, scored a whole bunch of points, made up for the loss against Green Bay. You look at this matchup, Ryan Tannehill, more than 30 touchdowns this year, just 7 interceptions. How good do you feel about him going into the postseason?
Well, there's been a lot of questions about Tannehill. A lot of people assume that he's a quarterback that's not able to produce offensively. That he's not able to make plays. I think he's proved a lot of people wrong with that. He's been able to do a lot of things with his arm so far this season. Been one of the better quarterbacks in the league for a better part of the year. The Titans offense needs to get out to a quick start. And I think that Tannehill and Henry play a big part in it. This team goes as Derrick Henry goes. Everyone knows that. But I think that Tannehill is one of those guys who I think this is the year where he's looking to kind of overcome a lot of those stigmas that are placed on him as far as not being able to score using his arm. And I think the Titans, it's going to be a good matchup against Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. The Titans, like you said, they won. The game against the Texans was a lot harder than it probably could have been, should have been. It got a little dramatic there at the end. And, they had that field goal that did everything but not, clear the uprights. So, yeah, it's going to be a good matchup against the Ravens.
Yeah, field goal kicking has been a little bit of a problem this year, actually, and a matchup against the Ravens, which could be close, that could be an issue. You mentioned Derrick Henry, over 2,000 yards rushing. Everything kind of, as you mentioned, starts with him. He has seemed to get stronger typically as seasons go on, but we know typically, again, Baltimore is tough to run against. They tend to get better defensively as you head into the playoffs. How much can they establish Henry, do you think, in this matchup to make it easier? Because it's going to be easier for Tannehill if he can go play action.
You have to definitely get something going early with Derrick Henry. You can't abandon the run. Like you said, Baltimore, they're going to pack it in. They're going to make it hard for Tennessee to get yards on the ground. But you have an elite running back in Derrick Henry. You have to try to establish some type of run game just to at least make Baltimore respond to what you're doing. And once you get that going, like we talked about with Tannehill, it's on him. He's going to have to be able to make plays as well. And it's one of those things where his passing game may have to open up the running game. And he's going to have to establish that early as well. Like the Titans, they like to get out and run. But Baltimore comes with that stiff defense to get set up to prevent the run. They've got to mix it up a little bit, get some play action going, and just find ways. And it's all coming down to their play calling and just their ability to let the pass create for the run.
Ryan Tannehill is not the only quarterback with some questions. Lamar Jackson has been an MVP in the league, but he has not had great success in the postseason. We've seen that. Last year, thought maybe they could get to the Super Bowl. He didn't play particularly well. That's been the case in the playoffs. This Titans defense, how did they make things difficult on Lamar? I mean, do you want to keep him in the pocket as much as possible, make him a passer? How do they handle him?
He's one of those guys that can kill you either way. Lamar Jackson is a guy who definitely can kill you running the ball, and he can kill you with his arm as well. Just have to play disciplined defense against this guy. You can't let him get anything easy. Mix it up against him. Put different coverages against him. You have to do as much as you can. And you also got to control the clock. That goes back to Derrick Henry. You got to make sure you're burning that clock up a little bit on offense when you have Derrick Henry on the field, and just keep the ball out of his hands. You got to try to force him into some turnovers or something like that. He's just an extremely great player. He's a Michael Jordan of NFL type player, super athletic. Guy can do everything on the field, can make any play on the field. So you just have to play disciplined football and just find ways to keep him off the field and limit your mistakes on defense as well. Don't overplay anything and just try to contain him as much as possible, and hopefully they can come out with the win.
All right, final one. Who do you like?
I think the Titans are going to pull it out. I think that they got some nice momentum in that last game. Derrick Henry is looking on top of his game. Of course, he had a historical game last game. I think Tennessee's defense is on point. I think that Green Bay game was more of an anomaly playing in that, and that was cold conditions. They definitely won't be doing that in the next game. I think the Titans are going to find a way to pull this one out. I think their defense combined with Derrick Henry, combined with Tannehill stepping up and proving a lot of people wrong. And I think that they're going to seize the opportunity and pull out that win.
All right, thanks for the time. Anthony Sane, Sports 56 Mornings, 98.5 on the FanSharp Focus.